What's up guys? Today I'm in my car talking about my favorite settings that I have found over the last 2 years for my XHP transmission tube. So currently my car is MHD Stage 2 and it has been for the last year and a half or so. I did run XHP without an engine tune for quite a while and it was still great. But now that I've been MHD Stage 2, would I still recommend XHP? My short answer is absolutely. And if you're looking for some pointers as to what type of settings you should put your car on, then this video is for you. So the very first option I have selected, and probably the least exciting, is the gear selector. So you might be able to see it down in there in the gauge cluster, but when you're driving quickly, it's kind of nice to know what gear you're in so you know exactly how much power you have on tap at any given time. So one of the options that I've recently started using is the Takeoff in second gear feature. As you can see, it has no problem taking off. There's plenty of power if you really need it. And I have found that it removes the kind of annoying 1 to 2 shift. Even in comfort mode, it's a little jostly. So just getting rid of that and taking off in second gear really makes it more comfortable for a daily basis. So another option I have selected just to make daily driving a little more comfortable is to turn off the standstill decoupling. So what that does by default is when you're at a stop, your transmission disengages to kind of make idling smoother and use up less gas. But that means when you get back on the gas, there's a little bit of a delay and sometimes a little bit of a jolt in the driveline as the transmission re-engages and moves you forward. So by disabling that, it allows you to really navigate stop and go traffic much smoother because the transmission is not engaging and disengaging as you inch forward in traffic. Another option I have chosen that I feel like is relatively important for a daily driver is the preset for the all-wheel drive, which I have, to limit torque by gear. Now, I'm only stage 2, so I'm really not coming anywhere near these limits, but it just makes me feel a little bit better about it. Makes the car hold up a little better. If you're someone that has more power than stage 2, then this is definitely something that you would look for. Now, when it comes to sportier driving, one of the more confusing options is the torque reduction on upshifts. So basically what that does is it reduces the torque a little bit, as the name implies, when you upshift to make it presumably a little smoother. I've played around with this setting, a lot of people have, and for a while people wanted the shift noise with that, and they weren't really getting it. So that's why the new ignition cut shifting feature was added recently. For daily driving, I want it to be aggressive, but not too much so. So I have the torque reduction at plus 4% across the board. Now that is plus 4% in reduction. So the higher percentage it is, the more reduction you'll get. So the 4% really kind of smoothed out the gear shift just a little bit to make me cringe a little bit less on the upshifts, but it didn't smooth it out so much that it is really dull and mushy feeling. Now, as I said before, a lot of people used to mess with the torque reduction on upshifts to get that shift noise that a lot of people like, and that is when XHP added the ignition cut shifting, which gives you that noise. Now, paired with my plus 4% torque reduction, these are the settings that I've landed on for ignition cut to give you the best all-around feel as well as shift noise. So what these settings do is it gives you pretty frequent shift noises. Let me see if I can recreate them here. So it gives you a lot of shift noise relative to what you used to get while maintaining a degree of smoothness. So the settings I have chosen really maximize the amount of shift noise that you get while maintaining that level of daily comfort. So another setting that I have messed around quite a bit with is the throttle downshift blips. Now again, like with all my other settings, I like to maximize the fun, but also maintaining a level of daily comfort, just because I don't like it feeling entirely race car. I do like to practice some mechanical sympathy and not beat the absolute crap out of the car all the time. So this is what I've landed on. So I pretty much alternate 17% and 20% throttle blips, as you can see on screen. And I found that gives you the most consistent feeling downshifts. So every shift feels more or less like it's the same aggression. So if you put everything at the same percentage, just because the difference in gear ratios, some of them feel entirely different than the next. And I have found that these settings really just make it feel as consistent as possible, so one gear is not wildly more aggressive than the next. So if you want the downshifts to be more aggressive than I have it maxed at 20%. Again, just because I don't want to just ruin my car, or at least I don't want to feel like I'm ruining my car. Then you can bump it up from here, and again, I'd recommend perhaps alternating the shift aggressiveness, similar to how I have here. So that pretty much wraps up today's video. If you enjoyed it, please let me know. If you have any more suggestions for future videos, leave it down in the comments, and I will see you guys in the next one.